Moving, off from there, our next conversation, it isn't the first time that in the trade fair we've had some demolitions happen. Well, another one just happened, the Fantasy Dome, and we're asking questions about how it did happen. Well, on the ground, from right there, Sweetie Abochi, my colleague, is on hand to walk us through what exactly is happening there this morning. Sweetie, if you can hear me, what exactly has been transpiring at the Fantasy Dome?
Unique edifice, the Fantasy Dome, which had a 20,000 seating capacitor for events, festivals, and all sorts of activities, which has become or was known as one of the most prominent event centers here in Accra. What you see here is the result of a demolition activity. And I'm here with the CEO of Fantasy Dome or Fantasy Entertainment, Mr. Leslie Queno. Mr. Leslie, join me here. What we see here must come as a big blow to you. Now, we know that the Trade Fair Center gave you the lease to put up this edifice 5 years ago. The lease ended December last year, first week of December last year. Okay, last week in December last year. What happened that was irreconcilable, for which reason your business is in shambles now?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and this is a big blow not just for me but for the whole industry, the entertainment industry, because we need places like this. But to answer your question, when my lease ended, I am in the process of relocating, and obviously this is a huge edifice. It's not something you just pick up and relocate. I've been looking for land. I need up to 4 to 5 acres of land to go to, and I've found a couple of places, especially the University of Legon. We're in the final stages of negotiating the lease, so I requested a 60-day extension from the trade fair, if they can let me get that so I can have time to finalize my lease and relocate it. The CEO wrote me a letter stating that they will not extend the lease for 60 days, and they are taking possession of the land as of January 1st, and so that was it. So I did what any law-abiding citizen or business would do. I went to court and I requested a writ to stop her, so she give me access to my property to remove it, but also give me enough time so I can relocate. So we were able to get a writ of injunction. We got a writ, and we also got an injunction for them not to damage the property. We've been trying to serve them for a whole month. We finally, about 2 weeks ago, did substituted services, so they were served. It was pasted all over the offices. They're fully aware of it. So unfortunately, the next court date is April 18th. We're waiting to go to court for the judge to give us a way forward. I just needed time to relocate, and honestly, by the end of this month, I would have relocated because I'm in the final stages of my lease arrangement with UJL to relocate to.
So your lease ended. You wrote to the CEO for an extension, and they refused, and then you went to court for an injunction. You served them this injunction, this writ, and they said what?
They have not responded. They just went quiet. I mean, this is the first response I got from them. And unfortunately, it's very sad because there are several ways to do this. In Ghana is a country of laws. You cannot distract or even evict anyone without a court order. You cannot destroy anyone's property without a court order. So the question is, how can you destroy this property without a court order? I mean, forget the fact that there's an injunction, which there is. I mean, how do you still do this and use national security as your protection to do this? And that's what's sad for me as a Ghanaian businessman, is that in today's age, we can just break into people's property with bulldozers using national security operatives and just destroy property and claim it's an eviction. Does this look like an eviction to you? I mean, is this an eviction? I mean, is this what you do to evict people in Ghana?
Well, you mentioned national security.
Yeah.
How sure are you that they're the ones who came to demolish this place?
Because unfortunately, on the day of, my security tried to reach me, but I kept calling them back, but they were not responding. When I got here, there were national security operatives. The gentleman here claims his name is Captain Frimpong. He said he's here to protect the trade fair workers doing the demolition and protect them. And apparently what they did, the reason my security could not reach me to get here faster was because they took their phones away from them. Not only did they take their phones from them, but they held them captive under the tree. So they were moved away from the property and they took their phones. And I don't know how national national security operates in this way, in which you are there to protect somebody doing a demolition, but then you take away the security phone so they can alert the proper owner to respond accordingly. And they're fully aware there's a writ, there's an injunction on the property, and I don't know why they'll aid them. And where is Ghana police? I mean, isn't this law of order? If you have a valid court order, a valid court documentation, isn't Ghana police the one that should be here supervising whatever you do? I mean, we're a country of laws, and we should not just let these things just happen. Because how are we supposed to invest and bring millions of dollars into this country if somebody can just get national security and just knock your building down and then tell you they're evicting you? That's not the way we should work in Ghana. We should respect the laws, which is what I did. I went to court. I got an injunction, and that's what any businessman should do. We should never resort to violence, to destruction, because that's not what a country, a developed country, a country that wants to develop does. We should be a country of law, we should respect law, and we should adhere to the law.
This was a 20,000-seater capacity building, edifice, event center. I've seen cameras on the floor. I've seen the air conditioners, huge air conditioners all over the place, cameras. What is the estimated damage?
So this facility was not just an event center. I did one level above. It was also a production house. I mean, we actually have a couple of shows here that were filmed. The Boss Game Show. I mean, some of Instroma, some of those things. This is where we filmed it. But I also have equipment. I mean, in these rooms back here was storage equipment of LED screens, stages, lights, sound equipment. So we were a full production house. And as you can see, they just knocked it, and everything is broken. And it's just, and that's sad, because at the very least, I could have had some time to remove my production equipment. I mean, the interface itself obviously is very expensive. I mean, the cost of putting up this whole infrastructure was close to $5 million. And that's because, I had close to 80 bathrooms. I mean, I had, dressing rooms, I had green rooms. But more importantly, just the floor we're standing off cost close to $2 million. The trade fair, because of its proximity to the ocean, is all clay. And obviously, to be a safe edifice, I had to dig 2.5 meters, extract all the clay, fill it with laterite, and that's what made the cost so exorbitant. But that's because I wanted to do the right thing and do safely. Because if you're going to have 15,000, 10,000, 5,000 people jumping and being happy, you don't want them to die because the clay caves in. And to do the right thing and to just be destroyed, demolished, or whatever the legal way they want to use for this is very sad, and I'm still in shock.
What reasons did they really give you for which reason they wanted to evict you from this place after the work you put in to ensure that this place is habitable?
The reason is that they're doing a redevelopment of Trade Fair, and I understand it's a valid.
That's the building there that they're trying to construct more facilities for?
They are reconstructing the whole trade fair. Obviously, I don't know the plan. I don't have any idea of what they are trying to achieve. But, I mean, it might be a valid cause. And I respect that, because Ghana needs to develop and the trade fair needs to be developed. And I support that. But my only problem is do things the legal way. Do things the right way. I've been here for 5 years. I mean, they could have asked me to be part of the redevelopment, right? They could have said, Leslie, you spent $5 million, maybe to fit into the redevelopment, maybe put glass around your edifice. It might cost you $1 million. But for me to relocate this could be another $3-4 million, because I have to do the ground, I have to do facilities. So it doesn't make any sense. But I wasn't part of it. Fine. I was going to leave because, that's the choice they made. And I found a place to go to. But to come here and demolish my structure without any kind of warning, without any kind of pretense while we're in court, is my problem with the Ghana Trade Fair.
What's the way forward, considering that an estimated $5 million has gone waste?
Yes, I mean, that was an investment 5 years ago. But I unfortunately, the way forward is obviously we have to go back to court. I mean, this is contempt of court. I mean, we have to go back and file contempt charges because, we had an order for them to not do this, and they did exactly this. So we'll go back to court and file that. I also want the Ghana police to file a complaint because I would like to know who's responsible for this. Right.
So the Ghana police was not here with the national security when this activity...
The Ghana police was not here at all. I can tell you on authority that I was the one that made a call to request Ghana police, because they are the only law enforcement body that I know in Ghana, and they came here, and when they came, they were asking the national security operative questions, which actually what prompted the bulldozers to move away from the property, and their answer was they are here to protect the trade fair workers, which was silly, but that was the official position. Ghana police was definitely not here, and if they were, they might have been hiding under the bushes or somewhere. But I went and filed a complaint at the Lab District Police. They were not aware of this exercise, and actually they're also going to do an investigation and follow up. But I would like Ghana police to come on a response, because if they are the one that uphold law and order and they're supposed to protect us, are there any agencies that can override their authority and do things? I would like to get that answer. But I also want them to fully investigate and bring people that caused this, to justice.
I'll come back to you, but I want to get an eyewitness recount of exactly what took place. I understand you were here. There's another gentleman. Please join me here. You were here when the security personnel arrived here. When they got here, he's your security officer. Please come closer to me. When they got here, what did they say to you? And take us through the procedure to taking your phones, letting you sit down. I don't know whether they tied your hands, whatever happened. Give us a recount of the activities that led to this and your inability to reach your boss.
Okay, thank you so much. Listen, on Saturday, around 9, I was in the dome, and then I saw people surrounding around the dome, and then I went out and I saw that it was the national security people. Already one man called Captain Frimpong came whilst I was on duty last week Monday, and then he came and told me that this building need to the time for the duration is up.
Yeah.
Yes, please. So I should just tell my boss and then inform him. And he even asked of my boss line, but I wasn't. The line that I have was inactive. So I told him that if there's any information, you just need to give it to me so that I'll let my boss know. So on that particular day, which is Saturday, they came and then shake the door, and then I approached them that what they are doing is not appropriate, because if something get damaged, I'll be held very responsible for that. And then they say, who am I to question them? And then I asked them, may I know actually what's going on here, because I have no idea of. Yeah, and then they said there's no answer for that. And then they said I should bring my phones and my laptop, and then they took it, and then I wasn't able to say anything because I am afraid that maybe if I go further, they might do something. Yes, yeah. Please. Yes, please. So yeah, then afterward they told me that I should just distance myself because they're about to destroy the place.
So there was no Ghana police officer here. It was just a national security.
Yes, please. There's no national police service over here.
Right.
Yes.
Did they manhandle you though? Did they use force on anybody here?
No, please. No, please.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Kweno. Now that we are going, you say you are going back to court because this is obviously something that the judiciary needs to address. What would be your demand when you go to court? What are you looking to get from court proceedings as an appeasing,
Well, I think it's whatever is equitable in the laws of Ghana, right? I didn't do this business. I mean, I'm a businessman, but because of my love for the entertainment industry, I support artists, award shows, TV. I do everything in this industry. I've been doing this for over 25 years, and it's because of my love for it. I've lost a lot of money doing all the major stadium events, and I just do this for this. And I just want the court to make sure that it's not even for me to recoup my investment any longer. It's for this not to happen to any further investment into the entertainment industry, because we're suffering, right? It's very few of us that can do this, and to destroy people like us, you're destroying future investors into the entertainment industry. And Ghana needs entertainment spaces. I mean, every question they ask of the Ministry of Tourism is always, we don't have enough entertainment. But then you have the largest in Ghana, but then you destroy it. So what are we trying to do? So honestly, I want the courts to protect and make sure that people like the national security or any other landlords cannot destroy entertainment spaces that can be used to benefit Ghana and Ghanaian artists and the Ghana artist industry.
Since this demolition on Saturday, have you heard from the Trade Fair Center authorities? Have you heard from anyone reached out to you to say, let's talk about it?
No, not at all. And actually, the worst part is they just destroyed it. And I think they've left some national security operatives who keep telling me that they're here to make sure that they're here to protect my property, which is insane because they destroyed it to stay around to make sure no one steals it. So they're telling me they are going to help me make sure that no one steals it, which is insane because, I mean, look at this. Is this the concern? If you're worried about my well-being and my property, you would not have destroyed it. You would have made sure I relocated. You should have made sure maybe the Ministry of Tourism got a hold of me and we found a place to put this to benefit Ghana instead of raising it down so somebody has to spend another $5 million. No one will do that anymore if this is how you're going to behave in a country that we're supposed to be of law.
If they could hear you right now, what would you say to them?
To the Ghana Trade Fair? I'll say to the Ghana Trade Fair, I wish you all the best. And maybe what you're doing might help in the future, but you have to follow the rules of law. You cannot act as a banana republic. We are in a democratic country with laws. And Ghanaians, just because we are very sober and we are very respectful, does not mean you should take advantage of us. We should respect our laws, regardless of what government it is, regardless of what political party you are. Do it. We should stop that, and that's what I'll say to the trade fair. Follow laws of Ghana.
Thank you, Mr. Queno, for shedding more light on this issue for us. Well, so there you have it, the remains of the dome, the fantasy dome here at the Trade Fair Center, which was demolished on Saturday by the Ghana Trade Fair Center, but actually done by the national security, according to Mr. Leslie Queno. And he says his lease was had expired, but he'd written to them to give him some time to move out, to relocate. He'd already been in conversation, in talks with some people at University of Ghana to move this facility there, but it appears they weren't patient enough. And although there was an injunction served, a writ was served to them to put a hold on this eviction or demolition, they still went ahead on Saturday to demolish this place. This was once a 20,000-seater capacity event center, one of Ghana's prominent ones here at La Trade Fair Center. So this is what we have for you this morning. Benjamin, if you're still with me, over to you.